Dental Fuel, the podcast that focuses on what no one else is talking about: mistakes. The dental world is full of before and afters, and no one is talking about the middle. Dental Fuel brings you the unspoken in between. We are excited to have Jonathan Miller. In the last episode, we talked about startups and buying a practice and when it's important to start talking to the bank. In this episode, Jonathan shares some mistakes that he has seen dentists make after they get bank approval. Once you do have approval from the bank, what are some mistakes that you have seen people make after they have that approval?
A lot of it is really just in this kind of genre of not knowing who to turn to or who to trust. It's really, partner with the right lender. If you can go down the path of some things I see doctors do is second guess everything. Is this rate the right rate? I take it to people again. I take it to my mom or my dad or whomever that has done bank deals. And so I asked them, and so I had somebody do this recently where they took the loan approval and I had said, hey, this is actually a really good loan approval. This is a lot more money than I typically see them approve. And this looks really good. And they said, oh, okay, great. Awesome. And a couple of days later, they called me back and said, hey, I took it to my dad. He knows a lot of people in banking. He took it to like 3 people. And in fact, my dad said, if I didn't talk to this one banker, he'd disown me. And I was like, okay, well, what'd you find out? She said, well, everybody said it's a really good deal. And they were like, wow, they don't even have this and they don't have that. They're like, well, our bank would totally ask for a house and a spouse and another commitment. And they were like, they have none of that stuff. Well, yeah, I would take this deal and run. And I'm like, could have made this decision even sooner. Now, this only took 2 days, but some people, it takes them 2 months to do that process. And then they go out and ask a lot of people online. And then again, the mistake is not knowing that this is a good deal. And I appreciate that you need some other indicators to know it's a good deal. There's nothing wrong with that. But you're only going to get so many indicators before you're going to have to say, okay, this is a good deal. This is as good a deal as I'm going to get. And it's really understanding, hey, what is most important to me in that banking deal? Is it rate? Is it money? Is it term? Is it structure? What are those things? And I would tell you that if you can get the majority of those, the most important to use, if you will, take them. If you can get all of them, that's a great deal. Maybe the best deal because you got literally all of them. You got all the great things and you got a crazy low interest rate. Then take it and run before rates move, right?
Right.
But if you
Especially
get
nowadays.
4 out of 5, if you get 4 out of 5, I would say it's a great deal. 2 out of 5, probably not a great deal. Maybe keep looking. And I will say one of the mistakes is, and this all happened with the same doctor. It's so funny. In this process, she had applied with a more local bank, again, with some family influence here, and they declined. They didn't decline her. They said, hey, we're not doing startups right now. And so she got very nervous and thought, is the market going to go bad? Is the economy going to crap? All this stuff. And so I said, I don't think that's the case. I think that anytime there's a bump in the road, local banks are the first to pull back. So let's see what the other lender says. It's more of a major dental lender in the country. And that's the one that came back with this great approval, great everything else. And then she was, kind of renewed and restored her confidence. But imagine if she just had that one bank and they said, yeah, we're not doing startups right now. We're going to just press pause.
Okay.
I guess don't do startups.
Yeah.
And what they had told her was, we're not doing startups right now, but if you want to look at a practice to purchase, we'd love to take a look. And so she had thought, maybe that's the only route for me. And I guess lucky for me or lucky for her, it was just let's see what this other option says. And then I said, look, if it's true, they'll be the ones to say, yeah, we're going to pull back too. Then I'll be concerned. If they don't, and I was like, I don't think they're going to, then we would press on because the bank that you talk to doesn't really do startups anyway. They were kind of looking at it on a one-off scenario, but a lot of doctors don't realize that. Again, you're taking advice from someone who, you think is trustworthy, whether it's a friend or a family member, and then you get that feedback, and then you just go, oh, well, I guess now's not the time to do this, so I'll just kind of put my business plan away and go home or go look for a practice to purchase or whatever it is.
So what I'm hearing is kind of cast your net, ask around.
Yes.
Because some advice that you might get from, your buddy down the road who's already gone through this may not be
for you. Absolutely
right.
And I would tell you that, that should be your filter from the standpoint of, is the person telling me, hey, you should do it this way and you should do it that way? This is why I said you need to go down the path with somebody who's actually done it the way in which you want to do it. If you're talking to somebody, and it's market specific as well. So even when you talk to your buddy who did it in rural Oklahoma and you're in Seattle, there's 2 different arenas. Or my buddy did it in Beverly Hills and I'm in middle of nowhere, Texas, 2 different arenas. And so everything starts to change with that, because you'll hear somebody talking about, well, never spend this much in rent. Well, yeah, because $7,000 a month goes really, really far in Texas, and it goes nowhere in California.
Right.
So you're going to spend more than $7K. And oh, by the way, you're all right. You'll be fine. The cash flow will work. The metrics will work. So it's really, truly about casting that wide net. But if you know who you can trust and who to turn to when you do have those questions, that makes all the difference in the world, because you might get some of those banks that say no, or not right now, or we're going to wait. And then you'd go to that person and, oh, hey, is this true or is this accurate? And maybe they say, yeah, that's what everybody is saying. Or they say, let's wait. Let's see what another bank says, because you went to local small town bank USA and they said no. Not surprised.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Dental Fuel. If you would like to connect with Jonathan, you can find him on Instagram at startyour_practice. Jonathan is also leading the Ignite DDS Dental Business Mastermind that's starting this month. This course will provide you the steps that you need to build the practice of your dreams. You gotta check it out. Check out the show notes for more information. If you'd like to connect with Ignite DDS, you can find Ignite on Instagram at Ignite DDS. And you can find me on Instagram at tsmaestas.dds. We will be back next week with another episode.